The Glass Magician by Charlie Holmberg. This is a 211-page book with 21 chapters. And so I enjoyed the chapter spacing. It was perfect. 10 pages per chapter on average was great. So this is the second book in a series. I believe there's 4 books, and that's why I started rereading this series. It's because I just found out there's a 4th book, so I'm excited to read that. Disney did acquire the movie rights to the whole series, and I would love to see that in action. That would make a perfect fit. I believe this universe is just ideal for the Disney universe. This is female book written by a female author, female lead, Ceony Twill. This is set in England, old old school. I think 1900. Lights are not commonplace, electric lights, and automobiles are still hard to find. So the main character, Ceony, is 20 years old, so she's still an apprentice. She's got a 2-year required apprenticeship before she can test to become a full magician. The first book focused on her first year when she was 19, and this is kind of into her after her first year, so now she's 20. The universe is based on materials, so there is magic, but it is tied to the material. We've got metal, paper, plastic, fire, glass, and blood. And of course, the bad guys are using the blood magic, but that's not a big deal. I thought that was a good addition. Paper, of course, is the least exciting of those, and so the folders, as they're called, are in decline. And Ceony wanted to be a metal magician or a smelter, but is forced to choose paper, to bind to paper. And prior to this book, it was thought that the bond is forever. You say the words, you say the oath, and you attach the material, and that's that. Yeah, that's all you get. So blood is forbidden, and so there are a few people who choose that, and you get some additional powers, but it's like you have to use blood, so you need either human or animal blood to make the magic work, and so that's why it's forbidden, right? Frowned upon. And yeah, this was a really complex story. It took a little bit to get going. They kind of jump in with an opening scene and an explosion, but still it took a little while to build and figure out what's going on. So not a bad thing. It took a little bit to set up, but I enjoyed it. I thought the story was complex, and I liked that. You've kind of got the Emery, the magician that Ceony's apprenticing under. He's got his storyline where it's kind of like, are they, close? Are they getting closer? Will they have a relationship? Will they not? There's also him like protecting. So that's another storyline. He wants to protect everyone, and so his choices are that way. Whereas Ceony wants to get things done, and so that fuels her choices. But she's also the other side of the story, right? Are they getting closer? Are they not getting closer? And of course, the last storyline, her discovering abilities about glass and all of the materials. So really cool. Those all kind of blend and come to focus at different times. And really, this is about the glass magician. The bad guy, the main bad guy, is a glass magician. And so Ceony has another apprentice who she's friends with, Delilah, and she's apprenticing to be a glass magician. So we kind of learn about the abilities through Ceony's interactions with Delilah. And I liked that. I liked that they kind of tag teamed and that kind of thing to get things done. And really, they kind of are stuck in the lobby while the full magicians are part of a cabinet, and they decide, they're deliberating behind closed doors while, Delilah and Ceony are stuck in the lobby. And so that's where all the action happens, is in the lobby of the cabinet room. So I liked that. And it really played into, what any 20-year-old would do, right? Any young 19, 20-year-old wouldn't say, hey, you're a glass magician. Tell me exactly what a glass magician can do and what abilities they have. No, you jump right in and you go and take on the issues in front of you. So she did eventually learn, some of it the hard way, but she did learn from her friend. So that was cool. This was about abilities and self-reliance. There were other people. She didn't completely do it herself, but there wasn't any cliches. Like it wasn't like the power of friendship that won the day or anything. Ceony did suffer along the way and worked through the issues. So, like the first book, she had a main enemy who everyone assumes is a blood magician, but is actually a glass magician. So, the things that I didn't like, the number of locations were kind of tricky. They kind of move from the out in the country into the city, and then to then to magician Ivosky's house. So there was three locations where they lived, and there was also three altercations or incidents. So it was like there was just a lot more to remember, and moving here, moving there. So there was a lot more setup than the previous one. Um, it didn't take away from the story. There was a lot more to it, I guess, and that kind of made for a different story than the first one, which isn't bad, but it was something that took a little getting used to. The blood magicians, one of the abilities towards the end, it says teleport. It didn't go into detail, and I think maybe jump a short distance would have been a better description. I just feel like with teleport, I almost feel like there's lots of cliche attached to that, and that makes them seem more invincible, or I don't know, maybe that word has meaning that I'm ascribing meaning that isn't there. So I hope that's described a little bit more in the third one. But I took it as jump short distances and I moved on. Like I don't know. So this is a good book. And really, I'm excited to read more about the third, because at the end of this one, we find out more about bonding to different materials. It may not be permanent. So I don't want to give anything away, but how Ceony works through her problems is learning more about glass, and how do you learn about it without trying it out. So very cool. This would make an amazing Disney movie. Check it out if you can, and buy your books used as always.